everybody, this is Mitch Ashley.
And I'm Alan Schimmel.
And you're listening to
Security Boulevard Chats.
Yeah,
we're out
baby.
On the boulevard, Mitchell.
On the boulevard, man. We've been doing this security podcasting for a bit of time here, buddy.
But every time that was one of the nice things when we picked Security Boulevard as the name for the security site is, and by the way, thanks to George Hume, who actually came up with the name and owned the domain. Give credit to George.
I didn't know that.
Yes, that was George. This was George's idea. But to me, it always sounds like a Bruce Springsteen song.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And here I am revving up out on the boulevard. But anyway, or maybe it was the Kinks on Hollywood Boulevard. Nah, that's a different one. All right, Mitch, I guess we went right off the tracks from the get-go here.
I don't think we're ever on the track, but okay.
Yeah. But you know what? As long as we're talking about it, though, of course, for those who may not know, Security Boulevard actually was 15 years in the making because it grew out of the Security Bloggers Network that we started back in 2004 or so, 20 years ago.
Yeah.
And big announcement is we're changing the name of the Security Bloggers Network to Security Creators Network.
And who is part of it too? That's the big expansion.
Yes.
Opening arms.
It's not just bloggers, it's podcasters, it's video people, it's anyone who's creating content regarding security or cyber, if you want to be fancy. And it, we're not going to be as rigid. If you had a marketing title, you couldn't be here or something. It's a lot more open. And I'm waiting on the contracts now. We're going to have a nice Security Bloggers or Security Creators Network meetup at RSA.
That's a highlight for us at RSA. A lot of great things happen at RSA. That's always been the Wednesday evening event, right?
Yep, we're gonna have a partnership there too. I'm very excited. More details to come shortly.
Hang tight.
Anyway, all right, Mitch, we got that out of the way.
Yeah, well, let's talk about, we can't go too far into the podcast without talking about AI. And I think there's a theme here today. There is. Richie Jennings, our kind of blogger watch, right? Humble blogger watcher, had a really great post about self-replicating AI.
Self-replicating AI, malware in AI.
Yeah, I left off an important word.
Well, look, sooner or later, AI will be self-replicating. And of course, that's one of the principles of is something alive or not, right? Can it self-replicate?
General artificial intelligence, right?
Yeah. But this is sort of a doomsday scenario where the AI can be manipulated into sending spam and stealing information and passwords and doing all kinds of bad stuff. And I'm not saying it's going to be the end of civilization as we know it. And that's why we need to slow down with AI. But from a kind of classical block and tackle cybersecurity point of view, this sucks. I don't know how else to say it. It sucks.
It's scary.
It is scary. This is, it's like taking the gun from Sergeant Schultz and putting it in Victor Drago's hands or something,
Yes. Duke Nukem has got the weapon now.
What are you supposed to do?
Well, and it's, a lot of the articles or a lot of the blog posts that Richie looked at, researchers are now saying, well, what can happen? What could we do, or what could the attackers do with generative AI, with AI, and how you could make it self-replicating, this kind of thing. And so it's not like suddenly we've been overwhelmed with this brand new attack and everybody's, patching servers quite yet. But the part of it that I really get my head wrapped around is you could not only self-generate malware, but you could create ways of obfuscating what you've done, so it isn't recognizable of what you've replicated. And now you're really into a world of, okay, that's doomsday.
Craziness.
You can't
Craziness.
tell, right?
Agreed.
It's interesting thought experiment.
Agreed. Yeah. Scary stuff, Mitchell.
It is. Well, let's pull back from the brink Don't step over that cliff.
Right, don't
quite yet.
get off the ledge. Walk
Yes.
me off the ledge.
Don't update your will quite this minute. You know,
Nope.
we'll save that for tonight or tomorrow.
Mhm.
You know, really interesting. There's an article on Security Boulevard about Cloudflare unveiling their firewall to protect LLMs.
Yeah.
You knew this had to happen. Interesting. It was Cloudflare that did it, right?
Well, I got a couple of thoughts on this one, Mitch.
Okay.
First of all, I remember when you and I just recently, I guess it wasn't that recent, but it was in late November, early December, we were at AWS reInvent, and we interviewed a bunch of companies there around their AI strategy and product offerings. And one of the themes that emerged was that a lot of these companies had made deals with the AI providers that their personal data would not get sucked into the LLM or would not be available. And one of the things that struck me then is, wow, they're really trusting. You know, just because they signed a contract, it may not be the entity they signed the contract with that sucks that information.
Absolutely.
But the fact that information, because it wasn't that it sucked the information, it's that it used the information. But if that information is there, what happens if someone else somehow got a hold of it? And so I wasn't quite sold on the whole, we signed a contract, they're not going to use it. You know, Ronald Reagan, trust but verify. So now, I guess it was only a matter of time until someone said, yeah, well, let's just make sure that's not usable. We'll put a firewall up around it.
Well, was it contracts are meant to be broken? Rules are meant to be broken. So I guess.
Yeah, no, absolutely.
It happens. Doesn't mean, you know, best intentions and, you know, indemnity.
Well, like I said, it may not be the party to the contract.
Exactly. Yeah. Good point. And you don't know where that data is going, and neither does, not everybody knows, right? It may have been put into something that gets released to one of the partners, and unknowingly we weren't supposed to do that. You're going to pull that back from an LLM that's already been trained on it. That's, you know, we've got a lot of stickiness to AI data and how that can train and potentially poison, right? Data that's created from learning, from training.
Agreed. You know, on the other hand, you said, well, who thought Cloudflare would be the people to do it? Look, they're responsible for 25% or more of the traffic on the internet. You know, frankly, either them or Akamai, one of them had to do it, I think, because they probably, they could probably handle the, you know, at least now protect the greatest kind of attack surface, if you will.
At scale, at large scale.
Right? Yeah. Agreed. So I think that's a great thing. I'm not quite sure how it really works.
I haven't been able to dive into the details. I think this was just announced, like, I believe, you know, like the 5th.
Yeah, no, just within the last couple of days.
Yeah.
But I just thought, you know, Mitch, you and I have seen firewalls from, what was the old Cisco, not the AS, was it ASP was the firewall?
AS.
It was AS something was their firewall.
God, that's going way back.
You know, then there was the one that the guys who started Fortinet, the Yee brothers, and then got sold to Juniper. It was not net, something with the word net.
I know.
Don't make, you know, the Israel, of course, Checkpoint. You know, sort of your classic firewall. Is what I'm trying to say. Yeah. And then, of course, we saw the next gen firewall, right? Palo Alto rode that to billions of dollars in a very big public company. Yeah. Next gen firewall. And then there was the WAF, the web application firewall.
Yep.
Right. And now we have the LLM firewall.
LLM firewall. I'm really interested to dig into this and learn more and what they're doing.
Yep. I think we may have to call some of our friends at Cloudflare.
Yeah.
Yep. And see. We might have some Cloudflare content on TechStrong TV sooner than later anyway.
That'd be great.
So let's hope that works through. But again, go check that article out. It's also on Security Boulevard. Then Mitch, the last one that I had that I wanted to throw up to you and see what your thoughts were was an interview that Mike Vizard did on TechStrong TV. I mean, I want to make sure I get this woman's name right. Anna Pobletts from 1Password. She's head of Passwordless for 1Password.
isn't that
kind of a little bit of an
but-
oxymoron there, no?
we'll have
But
to puzzle that
anyway,
one through.
Anna, clued Mike into some of the latest goings on in trying to move us off of passwords. And in this particular interview, Anna says, developers and DevOps people can help by building passwordless technology into the applications they are building. And I'm all for that. Don't get me wrong. Two thoughts though, Mitch. First of all, if we eliminate passwords, what happens to 1Password?
Well, I have a feeling they'll carve out a role for themselves.
I know we'd put them on that commercial. I want to be obsolete by the time I'm 25.
They just have to sell right before you're obsolete.
Right. Sell.
No, that's not. I mean, you got to have a place to store the passkeys, right? I mean,
I guess
you're trading off a digital version of, something that's.
But isn't that
validated.
replacing 1Password with another password in some respect?
It already does that today. 1Password and other password managers will store your passkey when you create one for a website that you go to or logging into Google or whoever. So they've already started down that path. I think they're ahead of the curve now. When it's all passkeys, do you still need to? You got to store them someplace. So, do you want to put those in the browser? Probably. I don't want to put them in the browser. Now we're back to,
Well, I mean, is the browser more secure than the password manager? I hope.
No.
Or maybe it should be. I don't know. But here's the thing I do know, and this is from speaking to hundreds of people, not necessarily cyber folk, but regular people, civilians. And no one loves passwords. Everyone hates passwords.
Yeah.
And anyone who tells you they don't repeat passwords or anything like that's full of crap. Because as much as I like having generated passwords, I know there's going to be a point on my phone where I got to access something and I can't friggin' access it so I have to do a password reset. As a matter of fact, for many of my most important sites, I don't even fuck with it anymore, Mitchell. I just reset my password every time I log in.
It's almost easier. It's still hard.
It is because I pick a generated password. Don't expect me to remember it next time. I'll pick another generated password. Yep. And it takes a little longer, but this way I don't have to repeat passwords or have common ideas. And I've tried everything. I've tried the common phrases and series of words and all this crap. No one wants passwords, dude.
As many entries as you and I probably have in our password managers, that would consume more cycles than it would ever be worth trying to remember all of that.
Yeah.
So
you couldn't remember all of it.
No. Here's my question. I've been trying to think now, what is a way could we have our password managers talking to the sites and applications that we use and doing like we do with digital certificates, where it's a TTL that it'll regenerate the password for us. So maybe 5 times a minute, passwords are being updated all the time. So it's just a constantly changing thing. And as long as we've got our password manager, we can get in. Man, that's a wild idea. Maybe.
And then if you don't pay your password manager fees, do they trash them on you? And
then they
you're a
encrypt
digital
your drive
orphan. Kind of like that. What was that movie where they erased your digital identity and you're a non-person?
That's right. You're a non-entity, non-person. You can't.
Or
function.
better yet, let's use AI to manage it, and then some AI malware will steal it all.
That's right. Back to our first article.
Back to our first one. Full circle. So I always believed that technology would solve this issue. And I always felt we'd go to some kind of biometrical thing, Face ID, which of course can be faked, or fingerprints, but there's got to be something, and especially in the age of AI, we need better authentication of being real, of who we are, because really at the end of the day, that's what passwords are about, right? Proving we are who we say we are.
Yeah. And 2-factor, and even passkey is using biometric or some other device or something that has also authenticated.
There's got to be, and it's got to help. You know what, Mitch, on that note, I got to bring up something. You're aware of this that's going on here in TechStrong. some clowns with Indian accents from area code 702, they're not smishing. You thought it was a smish. It's not a smish. They're actually calling our employees, pretending to be me, asking them to go get some Apple gift or Amazon gift cards and give them the numbers.
That really was me, by the way. No, I'm just
that
kidding.
was you speaking in your Indian accent.
That's my deep fake.
Yeah, it's your deep fake. Now, I'm thinking, is this a warm up because somehow they're going to clone my voice and it will sound like me coming up, or are they that stupid?
It feels like we're just at the beginning. This is the next scourge of, we're going to be living in this world of ridiculous requests, but we'll fall for some of them, right? Whether it's gift cards or whatever it might be, right? And I need you to reset my password. Set it to this. Okay, right. I'll do that.
I mean, I got on the phone today with one of our folks here, and he was like, no, I'm not buying you any gift cards. How do I know it's you? I said, I don't want you to buy me any gift cards. But anyway, this is the crazy world we live in cyber.
It is. So I've got
things are going to get interesting. Go ahead.
I have an important question that I needed to ask you. And it's a shift, but it's still security. So how in the world did the Harkonnens get somebody built in, stuffed into the wall so that they could kill Duke Alito Atreides?
The person stuck in the wall. The person stuck in the wall was not killing Duke Leto Atreides. He was going to kill Paul, if you remember.
That was the Paul
Remember
guy.
they had the seeker, and then they had the person in the wall.
That's right.
Right. Duke Leto Atreides was killed because Dr. Yoon, whatever.
Yui. Yeah.
Right. They had his wife hostage and they were torturing her.
Yeah.
Or so he believed. She was probably already
Baron
dead.
freed him like he freed his wife.
Right. They broke his training. Yeah. They broke his training. The Harkonnens are evil, Mitchell.
They are.
They're evil people. But again, if you've listened to our DevOps chat podcast, go back and listen to our last episode there. This is a continuation. Another where the book diverged from the movie, or the movie diverged from the book, was letting out that Jessica was the daughter of Baron Harkonnen.
Right.
Now that came out, and I think in the prequel books.
I read
most of the prequels. Yeah. They're by Brian Herbert and Kevin Anderson. And yes, because this was the Bene Gesserit breeding program, and so they were always trying to combine the Atreides and Harkonnen lines, and Jessica marrying the Duke. Right. Now, I don't know if you've read the prequels, but the Harkonnens weren't always evil.
I've not read them yet. No, tell me more.
Yeah. Well, in the very beginning, at the Butlerian, the Butlerian Jihad, where they defeated the thinking machines.
Yep.
It was the Harkonnen was a hero. The Harkonnen family were the heroes.
What turned
or
them
even
evil?
Than the Atreides. Well, you'll find. I don't want to let it out for people who might want to read the books, but they dealt the Harkonnens evil. That Landstad and the way the houses came together, it was a nasty, nasty place.
Yeah, another Game of Thrones scenario. Huh?
Yeah, very much so. And over time, and of course the Atreides and Harkonnen. So at the end of that prequel, the three things there, and then there's another prequel of the families, the Atreides, the Harkonnens, and I forget the family that the Emperor's part of.
The Emperor's family. Yeah, I know.
Yeah, I know it explains all of that. All of it.
It's a rich universe, the Dune universe.
Yes, it is. And there's religious overtones to it. I mean, Paul Muad'Dib is very much a messianic figure. I always felt reading the book that the Fremen was sort of Middle Eastern kind of.
Jihad. I mean, you think all the language and a lot of it comes from the Middle East. So have you seen the articles about? I've seen things where Frank Herbert was tempted to, but never did sue Star Wars, and because if you look at the first movie, Tatooine is Dune.
Yes, it is.
And
Well, without the spice.
In the sand crawlers that are going, there's your machines that are collecting spice. Well, these are collecting droids. There's a lot of parallels to it. Yeah.
Absolutely. But you know what? Even my wife, who's not a sci-fi aficionado, said that the Dune universe is so much more complex and multi-layered than Star Wars. Absolutely. Star Wars is simple Western. Good guys, bad guys.
Yep.
Dune,
it's serials, right?
Yeah, there are spirals within spirals. We haven't even talked about the face dancers and all of that.
Plans within plans.
Yeah.
The sleeper must awaken.
Go watch Dune 2. It's a great movie.
It is.
Mitchell,
sorry if we spoiled anything for you. But
no, it's all good. Great stuff. Good Security Boulevard chat. Did I talk about Security Creators Network? Yes, I thought I did.
Right up front.
Yep.
So stay tuned. We'll probably announce
look for more on that. Yep.
Yeah. Security Boulevard and other places that we are. So
cool.
We're going to RSA especially. Check us out.
All right. Hey, Mitchell. Thanks a lot, man.
It's been a lot of fun. And guess what? You've been listening to another episode of
Security Boulevard Chats on the Boulevard.
This is Mitch Ashley and
Alan Schimmel
bidding you farewell till our next episode. Take care, everybody.
Okay. Bye-bye.